I want to tell you a story today which is a bit different than the regular presentation, investor presentation you usually see in these kind of conferences. I'm going to talk about cardboard. I'm going to talk about recycled materials, and I'm going to talk about recycled products. And my background is a financial background. I come from a company that gives financial services for startups in Israel in the past 17 years. We manage the financials of about 300, 400 startups today. We give them budgeting, we build their budgets, we build their business models, we report expenses versus incomes. So we got a lot of knowledge, accumulated knowledge, in everything regarding the business models that works and makes money. Now I want to go back to 6th of June 2012, and I got a phone call from a good friend of mine, a friend that I grew up with. We grew up in a kibbutz, and it's a friend that I haven't heard from in about 20 years. This is Izar Gafni. He's the inventor of the technology. He's the one who developed the technology. And I get a call from him, and I recognize his voice immediately. Now, we grew up in a kibbutz. I don't know how many of you know what a kibbutz is. A kibbutz is a way of living. You can see here our kibbutz, but that's at 48. That's when our kibbutz was established with the state of Israel. We came a little bit later. But in a kibbutz, you grew up together, and we grew up as kids. And Izar was always the genius of the kibbutz. The first patent he wrote was when he was 13. And he was always the guy who fixes everything, who fixes all the electronics. And I remember as a kid the joy of breaking into his laboratory and getting some new toys. So I get that call from Izar, and he tells me, listen, you remember all the troubles you gave me when we were kids? I said, of course. And he said, well, now it's pay time. And I need your help with something I'm doing in the past 2 years. And then he tells me to look at the video he made with another friend from our kibbutz that went into the cinema sector. You'll see that many startups in Israel, the way they form is that they call friends to help them with do things, to do stuff. Everybody knows everybody. This is another thing that is very unique of what you know as Startup Nation. And he tells me about that video, and I look at the video, and I just drop everything, and I drive to his workshop in the north, by the center of Israel, more or less. And I go into his workshop, and the first thing I see is piles of cardboard everywhere. Piles of stuff, of machines, of tools, everything on the floor, just like he's doing in the kibbutz, just like his laboratory. He's a technological guy. That's how it looks like. It's a small room. And then I look at the wall, and I see that beautiful thing you're going to see in about 5 minutes here. And I look at that, and I tell Izar, wait a minute, I want to understand that. Is this beautiful thing, is this beautiful bicycle made out of the junk I've seen earlier? That thing is made out of the cardboard? And he tells me, well, it's not exactly 100% cardboard. It's about 90% cardboard, but the rest is rubber. For the timing belt, for the braking system, for the tires. And we're going to use recycled car tires. And melted bottles. I use it for the drums, for the pedals, for the braking handles, for the axles. So it's 100% recycled materials. And it's very, very cheap. And I ask Izar, how strong is that? And he tells me, well, it's stronger than anything I've ever dealt with. This is Izar. He's weighing about 110 kilograms, it's about 220 pounds. And you can see him here jumping on top of our cardboard shield. That's the shield of the bike you're going to see here. And we tested that with 3 people. And you can see here a bridge for cars, 4-ton cars, carried by a bridge made out of cardboard. And then we sit for hours, and he tells me about the technology, of how he developed it, of all the barriers he had to cross, about the origami system of folding the cardboard, how to enhance it, how to make the connectors. All the people that told him it's impossible, and he had to go through and insist on doing that. And the most beautiful thing about his work is that everything he did because he knew the market of bicycles. You should ask yourself, how can one man, manage to develop a technology on one side, and on the other side, develop a product? Because you usually need a multidisciplinary knowledge to do so. So a few things about Izar. First of all, he's a very known expert in planning and implementing automatic production lines. He's an expert. He won several prizes of the US Engineering Association. You know that fruit? Every time you buy this in a supermarket, in a small box, that's his machine that he made, automatic machine, that peels it. But Izar is also an expert in bicycle. As he said, it's in his blood. He's an expert in building personally designed, custom-made carbon fiber bicycles. So he knows all there needs to know about how to build them, how to take them through regulation, the market size, and he knew exactly that if he's going to find a solution, a cheap solution, the market should be 3 times the size it is today. Let me tell you a few things about the market, the bicycle market. This year, 2013, between 130 and 140 million bikes are going to be produced, with an average price of about $100 per bike. And I can tell you that 80% of that production is going to be in China. Like 80% of the wheelchairs of the world in China. But you all know China, they rule the industry world because of cheap labor and cheap raw materials. We'll get back to China in a minute. This is our bikes. So the next thing I'm doing is I'm picking up a phone to a good friend of mine by the name of Ilan Cohen. He's the owner and founder of one of the major IP firms in Israel. Izar is a technological guy. You should know that. He doesn't mind about the IP. He's minding about the product. And I take that technology to him, and he looks at that, and 2 weeks later he comes to me and says, listen, I've never seen something like this. I have to be an investor of this company. And he sees thousands of IPs. 2 weeks later, he becomes the first investor of our company, and we established Cardboard Technologies. Now, you should ask me what's so special about cardboard.
What's so special about cardboard?
Thank you very much. That's a brilliant question. It's the next slide. What's so interesting about cardboard is that, one, I'm talking about regular standard honeycomb cardboard you can find anywhere. By the way, if you look at the recycling cycle of wood and paper, you start with high-end wood that goes to high-end furniture, then you recycle it and it goes to industry wood, then you recycle it and it goes to high-quality paper, and you recycle it again, and every time the fibers of the wood get shorter and shorter, and at the end you take all that's left and you make the honeycomb cardboard. But 3 important things about the cardboard is, 1, it's available anywhere. Remember, the raw materials anywhere, plenty of it. 2, to build factories or to use them, you can get a lot of incentives. It's recycled materials. The 3 raw materials we use are recycled materials. And 3, which is very important, our automatic production lines can be modified really easily, and our bikes can carry the logo and the colors of any company, any enterprise, such as I've seen many here today, that will sponsor this product. Now you should ask me why they should sponsor this product.
So,
thank you very much. I'll answer in a different way. If I would come to these companies and tell them, listen, please sponsor $20 for each sign I'm going to make, and I'll make sure any guy who goes with that sign, with your logo and colors, every time he goes out of his house, he's going to wave the sign above his head and run in the street for 1 year. Now, I looked at the big sign in Times Square, and I thought how much it costs for 1 week for a company to put their logo there. How much? I can make in $100,000 at least 40,000. That means, and it won't be only for 1 week. You should see today, I drove these bikes from 5th Avenue all the way down here. You should see the responses I got. And this is the alpha model. You see the letter A? You can build practically anything out of it. Anything out of it. So, I want to sum it all and show you the business, the unique business model of our company. We got global incentives, and we got corporate and municipal sponsors, also city bikes. We do intend to build these bikes with a motor. We got local production factories, and we got the products. The end user is in the middle. He's not going to pay. We're going to build from global incentives, from corporate sponsorship, building production facilities, and in some places in the world we get 100% funding for that. And we got over 50% funding for the raw materials. And basically when you got a product that weighs 9 kilos, costs $9, between $9 to $12 bill of materials, and we get sponsored, we can practically give it away for free. And we build these bikes so they can hold for 2 to 3 years with no maintenance, no adjustment. Part of the IP, part of our cleverness is how to build a bike that doesn't need any concept job, any maintenance. So basically, we have here what we call disruptive technology. We have here what we call game changer. That would bring the local industry back from China to the countries. And I want, with that, to ask Izar, since I got time off, Izar to come with a bike and to show this bike for the first time out of Israel. Izar. Turn them, I don't want to flip them. Well, you can see here, that's the prototype. Cardboard, cardboard, cardboard. Everything is cardboard here. Drums, plastic bottles, tires, driving belt, no oil. This is going to be from recycled car tires. 100% recycled materials, and in 12 months we're probably going to start shipping them outside, and you're going to see them around here. Questions?
Yeah, we've got to move on. The boss is telling us this, but the great news is they're around tonight and they're around tomorrow.
Yep.
And how much can I buy one of those for now?
You get one when you want one.
Oprah just handed out a free bike to everybody in the room.